Hour one, a very important hour because that's where you will get first impressions about our project, has the title The Homeric Iliad and the Glory of the Unseasonal Hero. And I called it that because there will be in this hour two key words, not just one. Most of the other hours have simply one keyword. And I break up each hour into sections, and these sections are not numbered because they're meant more for your sense of how I go from one topic to the next. They're more like cues for transition. And so the first section is entitled The Meaning of Kleos. You can see why I say the meaning of, because actually for every one of the 24 hours, I start with the meaning of a key word. And kleos is such an important word for our project because it's not only glory, it's the glory that is given to a hero by the medium. Then the next section is a much shorter version of epic glory, kleos. And what I'm trying to get at here is that whereas the Kleos of Achilles takes 15,000 plus lines to tell, the Kleos of a character like Iphidamas takes only a couple of lines. And here you see the distinction between macro narrative and micro narrative, or you can say framing story and framed story. In any case, this is a very, very, very short version of Kleos, and the stakes seem much smaller as far as we are concerned, we who are exposed to the entire Iliad. But the stakes are just as high for the person who dies, who gives up his life in order to get into what is called the Kleos, the glory of the Achaeans. He's not even an Achaean, he's on the other side. Then the next section is called The Immortalizing Power of Kleos as Epic Glory. And here's where I start to explore how you can get more of a reading out of the expression kleos aphthiton, which I translate in the beginning as imperishable glory. This is in Iliad, Rhapsody 9, line 413. Later on, as we read more and more, we can fine-tune kleos aphthiton, which I translate here as imperishable glory. It'll be even more specific a meaning, unwilting glory. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Then at paragraph 26, which is where the next section starts, I start talking about the meaning of the second key word in this hour, which is hora, that amazing word that tells us so much about the main ideas of this course. Then the next section, which starts at paragraph 30 of hour one, is what I call the need for heroes to script their own death. And here I was thinking of the analogy we can find, the point of comparison we can find in the science fiction film Blade Runner, and how, in a way, the replicant Roy, in his final moments of life, can actually script his whole story by saying things just the right way at the moment of death. So that's what inspired me to give it that particular title, this section, The Need for Heroes to Script Their Own Death. When I was working on this project at a much earlier phase of life, I was very much influenced by a film starring Jimmy Cliff called The Harder They Fall, where the main character definitely scripts his own death and therefore scripts his own life, and it's all encoded in song. So I had many reasons to call it The Need for Heroes to Script Their Own Death. And then I have a section starting at paragraph 35 called Heracles as a Model Hero. And it's a tricky title for this section because I'm thinking not only of models for us in the modern world. No, I'm not really thinking of models for us in the modern world. I'm thinking of what would be a model for Achilles. And Heracles is a kind of model, and that's what we explore when we do the close reading of text C of our one. And then the story of Heracles, and all we have is a plot outline from the ancient world. If we want to see the whole picture of the labors of Heracles, you really have to get it from a source that's not particularly beautiful in form, even if it's beautiful in content. And so I just give a plot summary, but the plot summary itself will open, I think, so many doors for you as you try to come to grips with the figure of Achilles. The next section, which starts in paragraph 49, which I call Heracles and the Idea of the Hero, I try to show that even the name Heracles really captures some of the basic principles that are at work when we try to come to grips with what a hero is in the context of the hero story. And then the next section, Achilles and the Idea of the Hero, what I try to do is loop back and see how the model of Heracles helps us understand even better what Achilles is all about and what his characteristics are as a hero. And I even try to itemize what are the things that make a hero a hero. And then, last but not least, the last section is called Achilles and the Meaning of Kleos. And here, after we've seen the very interesting analogy of Heracles, we take those criteria and apply them again to Achilles. And now we see, I hope, a deeper meaning of Kleos as it applies to Achilles. Why is Kleos the medium of Achilles?